Final Pogba will leave it for Rashford. He strikes. Oh, it's a goal! Staying on his feet this time. Look, they went for Martial. Lovely touch by Fernandez. Cavani! Rashford all the way across goal. What a finish!
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! If you don't laugh, what can you do, right? Um, welcome to All In, All United. I'm gonna be steering the ship tonight, and I can try and act as a captain, not as a captain as Manchester United, but a proper captain, right? So hope everybody on the panel is doing well. Hope everybody that's tuning in right now is doing well, and I'm not going to be steering this shit by myself. I got Reem and I got JP. How are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Go through JP.
Well, boy. Well, boy. I mean, I good personally, but in terms of the Manchester United fan, I had to go with the retro kit tonight because that is reminiscent of good times. I can't wear the normal kit anymore and feel comfortable with this crop of players that we have. But just this gonna be our worst season since when? Like this is terrible as a Manchester United fan right now. Terrible.
Boy, I share your sentiments. Reem, how are you doing tonight?
I did, I normal. I mean, I when Chelsea drew with Wolves today,
Well,
I sat down and I say, I wonder if I could start a banter them Chelsea men, boy. I wonder. But then Man United had a play. But say after that game against Brentford, confidence high. Nah, them fellas are gonna sack them off, man. They're not gonna do that, right? Only for us to go and get embarrassed. So it's like I can't win with this team. I can't win by, right? I can't win. And I agree with JP. This has to be the worst, right? This has to be the worst. I feel this beat back Moyes, and I can't wait for the season to
yeah,
done. That next game couldn't come faster, you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah. The only and I told people this after the match, right? The only positive about today's match is that there's only one more match in the season left, right? There's
yeah,
one more game until we are put out of our misery, right? Um, if you're tuning in, there was a game today, and I have to say Brighton Munich. I can't say Brighton because that's the way the scoreline reflects it. The way the scoreline reflects it, they played like Brighton Munich today. But
every team that play Man United just play like
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
Two men in
mean,
the first goal.
yeah,
Like
we,
boy.
we just
we
we
got
just
we,
we
we
just
got
giving away things today.
yeah, we got low level teams looking better than I expected. When we played Norwich, who were in yellow, we had them looking like Brazil. When we played Newcastle, who were playing in black and white, we had them looking like Juventus.
I'm
So
telling you.
that's why I mentioned Brighton Munich today, right? But if anybody who didn't watch the match today, it was Manchester United versus Brighton, and believe it or not, the final score was Brighton and Hove Albion 4-1-2-3-4. Manchester United 4-3-2-1-0. We scored more goals today versus Brighton, right? No, with regards to the starting lineup, it was the exact same starting lineup that was against Brentford a week ago, right? Martin started, Matic started, McTominay started, Ronaldo started. It was the exact same lineup. Um, I was trying to figure out, what was the approach to this game, and as Reem said, we were very confident because we were off of a win versus Brentford, right? And everybody's saying that, oh, why did we utilize Mata over the last 3 to 4 years as a number 10 because he's a specialist? But anyway, I can start with you, JP. Tell me what your thoughts on the lineup was because it's the exact same lineup we put out versus Brentford.
Brentford. I was actually happy with the lineup, um, because I thought the team played well together against Brentford. Mata, Ronaldo, they were clicking. You were seeing the connection between the higher level players with Matic even, in that lineup from the Brentford game. So I thought this would have been a game like, okay, we could do this with Brighton. We could control the game with these players in it. But for some reason, none of these players came off the bus today. None of them. I think the best Manchester United player today was Danny Welbeck. The rest of them, nobody else turned up today. Like it was, I wouldn't even individually go through and say who was terrible. The entire team was terrible. I don't want to look for any glimpses of hope or anything, but based on lineups, I thought we were in a good position.
Yeah. Let me go over to you, Reed, because like I said, confidence was high after the Brentford game, right? In that Brentford game, we were in full control. And then we saw a total, let's call it a night and day shift in today's match. What were your thoughts on the lineup when you saw it come out today?
Yeah, I mean, just like what JP was saying, I mean, we kind of had to rely on confidence because the team showed our confidence with the performances and results we've been seeing all season. So I agree that we had a ride with luck and any kind of glimmer of confidence and hope we had to ride that as much as we could. So the team that would have played and beaten Brentford, and I mean, it wasn't a fluke win, it was a convincing win. We came here and we spoke about that, right? So Ralph got it right there. Now, when we reach to the point, I'll tell you where Ralph got it wrong, right? But I mean, I wasn't expecting to see any change. Obviously, we know Brighton is a better team than Brentford. So I am thinking that, normally when I used to play, right, if we go one up in a game, we used to tell each other, oh yeah, we still nil-nil or we won down, right? And that's just to keep us focused and don't get complacent. And I don't know what's going on with this group of players if their mentality is so weak, right, that they think that, hey, last week they were so good that all they had to do is show up and win a game today. If that the case, then I don't know what to say about these fellas again, because I can't see, right, no in no aspect of the game today where we looked as convincing as last week, right? So I kind of don't know if to blame Ralph or if to blame the fellas because it seems as though these fellas just deciding when they want to play and when they want to play. Because I remember Phil, I make the statement last week. I say them fellas could play football, but they'd be playing the fool. So I don't know. But I mean, I don't have no issue. I didn't have no issue with the starting lineup.
Yeah, for sure. Let me go through some comments, then I'll make a comment of my own, right? Um, Kristen, thanks for joining on this somber night, buddy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Apologize, FC. All player and coach does do is apologize. It's true. You gotta start calling them Justin Bieber. Is it too late now to say sorry, boy? That's all I gotta say. Simeon, welcome, buddy. Welcome, man. Thanks for joining us, boy. You know, I wake up the other day with a vision. That is pay them fellas to win that last one game. Them fellas bribe that team for that win. Confirmed today. But who fellas you talking about? You talking about you want to pay Crystal Palace the money so that they can throw the game? Because our players are already getting enough money, so I'm paying them dog.
No, he say what he mean here is we pay
The
Brighton,
Brentford.
Brentford. We pay Brentford to beat
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it. Cool. Understood. Um, Tristan, thanks for joining us on this night, boy. Thanks for joining. McTominay's crap. Bruno hasn't
Crap.
cracked once. Our fullbacks are diseased crap. Let us know how you feel about Tristan. I am totally in agreement with you because this team has been
Yeah.
very inconsistent. And as I mentioned on previous podcasts before, I cannot wait for Eric Ten Hag to perform surgery on this team. I cannot wait. Right? And last comment, right? Um, Dave Daniel, once again, thanks for joining. Nicholas, you blank the crew tonight, boy. Who
There's
you talking?
there's the Nico Chelsea partner. So he
Oh,
say Nico Blanc tonight.
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Nah, but after the Chelsea game and what I saw Connor Cody scoring in 97 minutes, I was like, okay, cool. And then you know what? We couldn't have that Chelsea and Wolves match take the highlight of this weekend. We must all of a sudden, put in a performance like that to, make Chelsea fans feel happy, right? Now, with regards to the starting lineup, I was like, okay, cool. If nothing is broken, don't change it, right? Um, Last week we saw how Matic, Mata, and CR were linking up well, like the veterans of the team, right? So I saw how they were linking up well. I saw how they were passing on another. I saw how calm Bruno was. Um, I saw how hardworking Elango was as well too. So I said, you know what? Let's start the exact same thing. Don't fix it if it's not broken. And that was my feeling when I saw the starting lineup. Um, there are a few people online that were still questioning why were we starting Matic and McTominay in the midfield, right? Um, and they kind of have a point in terms of like today with regards to McTominay, right? But we'll get to that later on in the program. No, the performance that we put down in the first half, right? I thought it was absolutely embarrassing. It was disgusting. I told myself that you know what, in the second half, it can't get any worse. But we'll get there. Let me go back to you, Reem. First half performance. Any players stood out, and it can be stood out in a negative way or a positive way.
Well, I have, how to put it, boy, two players stood out for me, right? The
Mm,
rest of them didn't show up, right? One, I mean, I know JP had said that he don't think anybody really stood out, but I thought, in a pretty poor team, with a pretty poor performance, it had one player who was actually trying to, hold things together and settle the football, and that was Matic for me. Matic looked,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
leaps and bounds above everybody else on our team. And
Yeah.
because and Brighton realized that because they started to squeeze Matic. I don't know if all you noticed, every time
Yeah.
Matic got the ball, it had more Brighton players
Players
trying to
around him.
close him down because they realized he was the only person that was taking initiative on the team, right? So for me, I mean, I know we ain't reached there yet, Phil, but you see that substitution, that halftime decision to substitute
Yeah.
Matic out, that was
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
right? The other player who show up, as far as I'm concerned, and show up in a very negative way, right? As Tristan said, you see McTominay, boy? And my thing is, how do these fellas continue to
Total rubbish.
survive? That man is
Yeah.
not. Oh yeah, I fed up on McTominay, you know?
Yeah.
And these fellas and them just these fellas just make these teams off work hard. And this man, the way this man will be talking in interviews, this annoy me. And these fellas playing week in, week out by that is not the standard of Manchester United midfield. Right? I don't care if Matic is 60. Play Matic. Drag him
Yeah.
off the field in a body bag or something. A dead Matic could be better than McTominay earlier, and is weeks
Yeah.
on end McTominay playing poorly and making this team. Apart from
JP,
that, nobody else stood out. Nobody else.
JP boy, I I share the same sentiment as Reem. I am not sure about you, but before the podcast, you came here to vent. This is the therapy session.
Yeah.
Talk to me, JP. First half, our goals conceded in the first half. Talk to me, JP.
We should have been at least three down first half. Honestly, I was looking at the game. I was like, yeah, Brighton deserve this because right now they're playing against Coons. Brighton was knocking ball and playing proper football, especially down Teller's side because Bruno was doing nothing to help Tellers. And Tellers already not good at defending, right? But I will agree with Reem with Matic. Matic was the only player who was doing something, showing composure in the midfield. But playing next to McTominay is pointless because I think from what I saw, he won none of his battles, none of the duels he won for that entire match. McTominay did absolutely nothing in the first half. He did nothing in the second half. Ronaldo was very frustrating to today. You see, once Ronaldo, yeah, so I could read Ronaldo. That's my favorite player. I could read him. When you see Ronaldo come out with that frustrated look, you know he's not going to have a good game. And that was him today. He was just cutting a frustrated figure from the start. Because from the time he Robert started where we weren't clicking at all, he started to get frustrated because he wasn't getting the ball. He couldn't get any game. His passes weren't coming off. His shooting
Yeah,
was abysmal today. He couldn't even get a shot
yeah,
on target. He was terrible today. So I don't know. I don't understand. Like for me, that is the most worrying thing. When you see somebody at that level, and you have Mata in the team, you have Matic in the team, and Varane in the team. Like Varane has had multiple Champions League winner. He's a World Cup winner. Who is this Varane we signed? Who is this
yeah,
player? Like I am confused
yeah,
every time I
yeah.
watch his team and I think about the. Yes, I understand how wrong the majority of the team we have players who not good enough. But listen to the names I call there. You have De Gea, you have Varane, Matic, Mata, Ronaldo. How we have a team with these five players starting, and the other six around them can't do just enough to get things clicking, but they weren't good at all today. We have to make sure and say that. But why? How?
I I don't know about JP. Growing up, if it's about three or four sports I used to watch, but the two main things that used to keep me entertained were football and wrestling, right? And I am going to tell you straight up. I think in a previous life and in a former life, Scott McTominay was a WWE wrestler.
Yeah,
I kid you not,
yeah,
because Scott McTominay has the heart. Scott McTominay has the heart and the attitude, but I don't think he's good enough for the starting 11 of Manchester United. If
for
Fully
no
if,
agree.
Premier League
if
team.
that
For
was like a
no Premier League
Stoke,
team.
if that was like a Stoke or Burnley or like a Newcastle where these guys are aggressive and always want to fight, Scott McTominay will fit perfectly inside there.
Yeah,
But for Manchester United, I I don't know, honestly, right? As Reem said, Matic definitely stood out for me today. Diego Dallo as well too. He did okay today. He was the best out of a bad bunch, right? But all the other nine or eight players, boy, you were frustrating. And you tell yourself that Harry Maguire isn't starting. Harry Maguire is a guy that we call week in, week out on all in all United saying that we don't want this guy to
yeah,
start. And it's almost like when Harry Maguire whatever last match Maguire played, it's almost like he touched Varane. And
yeah.
he transfers something
Everything.
over to Varane.
Yeah,
I saw Varane versus Arsenal. I saw Varane played okay versus Brentford, and then Varane today. Oh my gosh!
But only
Right?
like for real, what is we doing to good players? Because every time good players come
yeah,
into this team, it's like they just turn to crap. I really don't know, you know. Because
yeah.
I mean, JPU said, how much Champions Leagues, how much La Liga titles? The man win a World Cup,
He's
right?
a
And this
world
man
class
looking,
defender.
yeah, and this man looking like he can't even make Trinidad and Tobago national team with the way he
No,
playing.
No
no.
boy.
What we doing to players, by?
I don't know, boy. Let me go through some comments, right? And then after this here, we'll talk about the I don't know if we can talk about the one goal that we conceded in the first half, right? I think we did this comment here already. Yep, that's true. Um, Simeon again. McTominay just wanted to kick men down. I think he find his level. Oh man. Simeon saying Dallo really stood out. Man real try, but man ain't have it. He shouldn't play in a back four. Um, I see where you're going. I see where you're going. It's more
Make
like
a
a
better wing back.
yeah, it's more like a formation that what Chelsea or Spurs player, right? Like a wing
Yeah,
back. Uh,
yeah,
He have more protection. Yeah,
yeah,
in back
true,
yeah.
true.
three.
I think
Mm.
he would thrive more in that system.
Tracy saying a lot of our players don't have it. It's true, right? Simeon saying there's no CPU in that machine. I'm assuming you're talking about Scott McTominay, but Scott, yeah,
Yeah,
Scott was wild today, boy. And I don't know, boy. For some reason, me as a fan, you fall for the old tricks, and as Reem said, when these guys do these interviews, they talk from the heart, and you're like, yeah, boy, yeah, yeah, yeah. These guys understand where I'm coming from. These guys all the way in England, I'm myself in Canada, you guys in Trinidad, they're like, yeah, boy, they can actually feel what we're feeling, right? And then you go and put in a performance like that there. You had me so gullible, boy. My gosh. Tristan saying, McTominay only falls. Yes, this stat here is true. Sideways and backward passes and jogging, never sprinting. Very, very true. I
Yeah, nah,
totally
on this comment here, Phil, right? I don't know, and all your whoever, yes, I have agendas, right? But if Pogba, people, I just very rarely hear people talk about
yeah,
McTominay jogging, but this man just jog more than
yeah.
Pogba, boy,
More than him. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And people will go in on Paul Pogba,
yeah,
right?
ain't
I
ready,
guess
ain't
I
ready for
guess
that
it's the
ain't ready for that
expectation.
conversation.
Yeah, men are ready for that conversation, boy, because
yeah,
why it is the standard for one person is not the same across the board, boy.
yeah,
They ain't ready for that conversation. That's a hush hush conversation because there are about 20 matches last season and 20 matches this season where our midfield is going on through and Scott is walking in the park.
Yes, boy.
yes,
Man is
yeah,
walking in the park, boy. My man is having a great time. My man is styling and profiling. Whatever. Anyway, let's go to Simeon. We did get rid of whoever signed these players, right? Yes.
yeah.
Ed Woodward is gone. Matt Judge is also gone as well, too, right? So we're looking for replacements for those guys. So yeah, there's going to be a clean out at the top, and trust me, when this summer comes, there's going to be a clean out in the starting 11 and in the other bench players that we have as well, too, right? Let's go through a couple more comments. Tristan saying, Varad needs time to adjust. La Liga pace and PL pace different. All right. I could give this year, I could give this last season a free hit to Varane, right? But if Varane is not available next season because he's always injured, I start to question Varane for next season,
Um,
okay? That's what I gotta
I could
say.
kind of give it because when you sign somebody at that level, you expect them to fall in a little faster. And this is not 21-year-old dummy who was doing really well in Real Madrid. This is a mature Rafael
Yeah.
Varane that we signed. So to me, yes, he needed time to adjust, but it can't be training performances like this coming to the end of the season. You hear how much fun now.
Yeah.
Tristan,
And
yeah,
even sorry, Phil. Even on that what JP saying there, look at Thiago from Chelsea.
Yeah,
I was
He
just about
he
to mention that
came
name.
yeah,
he
he
fall
came
in
into
like he
it.
had first game was terrible. He make a mistake, but then after that it's like and he is what 37, 38?
Yeah.
And he came from France, which is even slower than Spain.
Yeah,
Yeah, them yeah, PSG is one serious game a season. You
Yeah,
exactly.
know?
So Tristan, if you're still tuned in, let us know what are your thoughts on Thiago. Let me know your thoughts on Christian Romero at Tottenham as well. Because he came from Serie A, which is a slower league. Let me know your thoughts on him. Does Christian Romero and Thiago still need to adjust as well too? Woodward and Jed gone. Thank goodness. Yep. Um, Tristan said, "Don't get me started on Pogba. His cap going after that." I saw that video. I saw that
There's
video.
a
Man.
spite I
Anyway,
feel, yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
he does
yeah,
have a
yeah.
spite. Like he
Yes,
just
of
wants to
course.
trigger people, but like he know what to
I
do.
fully agree with that. I
what what what
fully
got
agree with that.
what got me is that as JP said, the guy knows how to get under people's skin, boy.
Yeah,
But the man
yeah,
don't
you
do
know what to
nothing
do.
wrong, It's just that he just knows how
No,
to get under people's skin, He just
yeah,
he just dye his hair. He just do all these dances. He just
yeah,
talk good about former Real Madrid, coaches in Zidane. But the guy don't do nothing wrong. He just know how
no,
Nothing. Yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
to.
People just can't stand him. That what going
no,
on.
no.
Man, let me get two more comments in, boy. Simon saying Varane played better earlier in the season. This is regression. Oh yeah, that is a definite,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And just saying, all right, when you have Ronaldo and Bale and Messi making it easy up top for you at the back, who we have?
Oh, I could
Um,
agree. This I could agree with, eh?
Yeah,
This I could agree with, right? Because you're
yeah,
talking about a different pedigree of players, right? You
yeah,
know, a team more cohesive, a team chemistry, a team know exactly what they're supposed to do. Everybody, you know, fulfilling their role, as
yeah.
opposed to coming into a dysfunctional team like Man United. So I could agree with that.
Even the midfield protection, he would have there too, because
Yeah.
where our midfield just will walk through like McTominay, just be like, like in the them first with the bullfighters, like he'll just be
Yeah.
letting them pass
yeah.
through.
But the only thing is that when the ball go under the cage, the ball going in one direction, the ball ain't coming back.
You know?
Oh my
Hey,
god.
man.
Yeah, so I think we conceded one goal in the first half from Moise Caicedo.
Yeah,
I was asking myself one question: why isn't Scott McTominay look to shut it down even quicker, right? But you know what? We went into the half one goal down. So I told myself there has to be some way where we will get some sort of hair dryer treatment, and we never over the season we've never strung two halves together, except for last week. But we've also said, you know what? When we have a bad first half, we'll have a better second half, or vice versa. Right? So I'm telling myself, okay, it's probably one of those situations, right? No, 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 no. Lo and behold, second half got worse. Reen touched on a point where Matic and Langa were subbed on for Cavani and Fred. Right now, I kind of understood why Elanga was okay. He didn't have the best of games, but the substitution that confused me was Nemanja Matic, who was not on a yellow card. It was Scott McTominay that was on the yellow card, and as we mentioned, Matic was the only guy that was holding that team together. Um, what went through your mind when you saw that substitution, Rain? Because it was confusing to me. It's funny because I was going to message you when that happened, but I couldn't be bothered. I was like, man, whatever, right? I'd given up. So what were your thoughts, Rain?
Yeah, when I saw it, I went to check on Twitter to see if Matic probably got injured and I missed that, right? Because that all of that didn't make no sense. It didn't make any sense at all. No, I mean I don't know if Ralph was watching a different game, right? But it didn't make any sense. So if my first thing was like, wait, Matic? I wonder if he injured. Because I mean I want to give Ralph the benefit of the doubt, right? And when I realized that was a tactical decision, then I sit down there and I was confused. And while I think it was you I was messaging Phil, while I'm messaging you, right, to talk about this decision from Ralph, um, Brighton came and scored the second. Because I think they scored the second goal pretty early in the second half,
Yes.
yeah,
right? And the same role that Matic was playing to try and avoid, right, these kind of chances that Brighton was getting. No, don't get me wrong, earlier. I'm not saying Matic would have saved the team and would have come back and beat Brighton. I'm not saying that, right? But when I looked at what Matic was doing in the first half, with some success compared to the other players who were playing in midfield, I don't think that was the right decision to make, right? And I think it backfired. And that's just my opinion. And I'm not saying
Just
that only because of the result, because I mean, let's say the result had remained 1-0. I don't think McTominay performance improved, right? I don't think what Fred brought when he came on was anything better than what Matic was offering. So I don't know. I don't know.
just to show you how bad we capitulated, right? We were down 2 goals in the 49th minute, right? So, like Reem said, they scored in the 49th minute. It was 2-love, right? They scored 8 minutes later in the 57th minute. That was 3-love. They scored 3 minutes later in the 60th minute, 4-love.
Jeez.
That's how
Ages.
bad we capitulated. So by the 61st minute, 61st, we were down 4 goals, right? It's kind of pissing me off as well, too. I just got a notification from Manchester United app. I know it says, our number one has climbed another place in Manchester United Football Club's all-time appearance list. The hair rises in record books. I'm like,
We don't
first things
care.
first, whoever the admin of this Twitter page has nothing better to do, honestly. We're just looking to piss off people. We went down, we get
Yeah.
beat 4 up today, and the only positive from your point of view in the world where you are today is that the hair makes another appearance. That's the standard. That's the standard they dropped today, boy. But JP, um, going into the second half, possibility of making a comeback because we're only 1 goal down. There are chances that Brighton should have taken in the first half to send them 3 goals up, but I told myself that we would make them pay. No.
Mhm.
What you thought of that second half,
No,
JP?
I really thought, as you know, we are accustomed that we had a terrible first, so the second had to be the better half. Clearly, the first was the better today. Um, but I think the hopes for me disappeared when I saw McTominay remain on the field and Matic came off because just as Rima was like, well, to me, Matic was the one more controlling. And I thought it would have made more sense if it took off McTominay for Fred to allow Fred to go forward a little more, as we would have been seeing him play more recently. Because you have Matic who actually know how to play the CDM role. He could have held down that position and let Fred cause problems with his running. Because that's what we were lacking today. We were lacking running. I'm not too sure it's Ilanga. Yes, he didn't do anything at all today in the first half, but I still felt like he was the pace in the team. And when you took off any chance of any kind of pace up front.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel like maybe we could have looked at taking off Mata because he was really ineffective. Like I trying to think of anything at all that I remember from Mata today, and it kind of shows why we were not seeing Mata all the time. And last week was probably more an emotional performance because it was his last at Old Trafford. That's what I put in on that Brentford game down to now. It was showing that yes, these players could play. It was emotional play because the last game in Old Trafford is Matic last game for sure. Last game, like the players would know whose last game it was, so they played for them. This week is like yeah, season done. You know, we have to show up today. And that's what the second half was again. It was like, well, yeah, because even Fred didn't do anything. I was like, but Fred is the one who, like, any manager could tell Fred what to do, and he will go out there and he will run, he will give everything. So it's even
Correct.
like Fred felt like this team didn't make sense coming out there to try and give anything to the team today. Like nobody. Cavani get a little thing in the box, they was seen a little running from him, but it, there was no confidence in any kind of play in the second half for me to say, well, all right, here we go, and turn it around here, man. Even when he went down by two, it was like, nah, not seeing it. Because I
Yeah.
knew how Brighton was playing. You saw the confidence and the swagger that they had in their game. Like, they knew we were there for the taking. It's like they were not letting up. So we didn't. we didn't put anything forward at all. And I don't know, it's just
Let me run a couple things by you, right?
yeah,
And to the viewers as well too. Calcedo opened his Brighton account today, so he
yep,
had never scored a goal for Brighton.
yep. You
He
left back.
left back
Yeah,
as well too.
yeah.
Brighton had not won a home game since either November or December
December.
2021.
Something, yeah,
Yeah, December.
yeah.
But JP, lo and behold, guess who their first home game came against?
Right.
The club that I
That's what I
love.
say.
The club
That's
that
what I
you and me
say.
love, JP.
It's like West Indies. I just feel like I'm watching West Indies cricket when I watching Manchester United. Like West Indies know how to make stars, and Kane Williamson first game against West Indies. That was his debut. And Kane
Yeah.
Williamson destroyed West Indies in his first game. I was like, look how he's a star now. West Indies cricketers make stars, Manchester United is make stars too. Right?
But why we in the Caribbean putting ourselves through this whole pressure of supporting both West Indies and Man United?
I don't know.
Why?
I
Anyway,
don't know.
that's a conversation for another time. Let me go through some of these comments here. Simon is saying that's like a goal. Yeah, that's like a goal was a really good goal. Thunder,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That second goal, the whole right side cleared out of United players and two unmarked Brighton players that played what rock paper scissors. First, the shot on goal, man. And you know what's even the second goal, the left back who scored it. He started crying because that was his first
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow,
Is his name Kukurea or something?
Cucurella.
Kukurea,
Kukurea.
Yeah.
a lot of hair, like
Yeah,
a bag of
yeah.
Yeah.
weed or whatever,
Yeah. But
right?
he was having a great game, man. He was having a great game.
But everybody's having a great game versus us. Um, Seaman again, De Gea was pointing in vain to them unmarked players and McTominay during
Jogging.
the jog, yeah, because he wasn't sprinting. That emoji like a man
That
sprinting,
emoji
but
moving too fast. Yeah.
I'm having not way too fast. Oh man, like yeah, it was a late job, boys. Yeah, boy. Um, last comment. Who was on the bench? I forgot who was. On the bench was Lingard, Ganacho, Fred, obviously, Cavani,
Fernandez.
Fernandez, the left back from our youth.
Yeah.
I don't think Ralph would have risked the youth because they have to play
Mm.
under 18
Yeah, the final.
final
Yeah.
on Wednesday,
Yeah.
right? That match actually is close to being 60,000 tickets being sold, right? So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's really good, right?
Yeah.
So those are the players that are on the bench. So I guess they were there to make the numbers, right? Obviously, the more senior players would have got him play first, which was shown. Cavani came on, Fred came on, right? So and also an appearance by Harry Maguire,
Maguire.
right?
We,
Harry
we didn't
Maguire,
concede when he came on.
yeah, Harry Maguire actually played well today. Harry Maguire
Yeah.
actually well, Cavani knocked the ball into the net, but it was offside, right? But Harry Maguire was not doing bad when he came on.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, nobody cares because it's
Yeah.
Brighton 4, Man United 0, right? I don't know if this is a silly question, guys, but where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? Um, there are players that we've seen over the last probably 2 or 3 seasons that are very frustrating, and I don't think they should be playing in a Man United jersey next season, right? But I mean, there's one more game left, and I guess that's the positive aspect about it, right? Where do we go from here? Honestly, I want to ask you guys that. Where do we go from here? I can start with you, JP.
Um. Somebody put a post in the must group that was interesting, talking about going forward, and I think I agree with his take on it. He don't want to see any of these players again. He wants Ten Hag to come in and do what he did at Ajax. Take the youth and build from there. Bring in players to play with the youths that we have. I know it's not possible to do that. But for the most part, I think that's what I want to see. I don't care about the last game, honestly. I don't care about that game against Crystal Palace. I would probably watch the game just for watching its sake, but I would prefer if we actually say, you know what, conference, no Europe, nothing, just let the youths play. Forget all them senior players, forget who last game for the club, forget sentiment. Just let the youths come and play. Like from the youth keeper, come up. I don't even want Dean Henderson to play. Like bring the youth keeper on. Like that's what I want to see for the last game. Now full youth team around against Crystal Palace. If they get mauled, they get mauled. But let them youths get run. Because I'm sure they'll probably play better than this team play today. But in terms of forward from there, really and truly, I think we need to see the likes of some players out, definitely. Um, McTominay, I don't care if he came to the academy, he needs to probably play championship. He needs to go on a loan if we can't sell him. I don't care what it is. We need to not have him in the team as an option at
Yeah,
all.
boy, get you out of here now, boy.
Yeah. So we got to look at our spine if we keep in the here. Varane, we got to get somebody for the midfield. Ronaldo, and we got to build around that team. Ronaldo can't be the main man, but we have to utilize his experience. And I think we need that in the team and his leadership. So that is what I am looking forward to what is really going to happen with the club going forward, the direction to see what we're really going to build on, what they're really going to give Ten Hag to do with this team. If the board going to back him, if we're going to have the patience to allow him to build as he has to build, because we really and truly, with what we have, what we see in here, it has to be something more than a manager. It has to be something more than that. It has to be something with the players and the culture that they have now created. We have lost the culture that was there before. And something new has been created in this club that they need to get rid of. They really need to get rid of that. And that is what we need to see, a culture shift.
But just out of curiosity, how long do you think Ten Hag will be given to rectify and to bring the culture back to United? That's the thing.
I am hoping they give him at least 3 years. I think he needs at least the 3 years to, because this first year you have to look at it like a purge. This first
Yeah,
year to be purge.
a free hit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then second year is where you want to see the progress and we get in like top four. And then by year three, I would say, is where you want to see we getting closer to the likes of Liverpool and Man City. That is how I want to see it at least. Because being Manchester United, I don't think we have the freedom to say, well, give it 5 years to win the trophy again. I think we've gone too long without it now to allow any manager to come and get that kind of time. So the realistic for me would be 3 years.
What about you, Reem? Where do we go from here? And I mean, obviously, we got to play that last match versus Crystal Palace, but do you share the same sentiments as JP in that play the youth, or you don't want to see these players again? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, I mean, um, I am actually very fearful of what Ten Hag will face. I remember when Ollie got the sack, and a lot of reports and rumors were going around about who is the next interim coach that we were going to appoint. And I remember when we confirmed Ralph Ragnick, all these different things about, Ralph's reputation and, the godfather of getting pressing and he's a no-nonsense man. And, when he come in, he gonna do this and he gonna do that. Jurgen Klopp spoke highly about him, Thomas Tuchel spoke highly about him, Hassan Huttl, all of them fellas on them, right? Even Pep Guardiola as well. Only for him to come in, with high expectations, right? And see the board turn their backs on him because he kind of made some admissions in his press conference about asking for a striker in January and they told him no.
Yeah, the check.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were hearing so much leading up to the appointment of Ralph Ragnick as to what going to happen and whatever. So I'm really kind of concerned as to what is going to be, Ten Hag's situation when he comes in and he works with his group and realize, because I am of the opinion now that this team cannot play any other way than how they know how to play. And let me explain what I mean by that, right? Bruno cannot play system football. Bruno has to be able to be able to be given the freedom to do whatever he wants. That is what he used to do at Sporting. That is why sometimes you used to see Bruno down in the back in Sporting, in the left back, crossing a ball, trying to reach the attacker. And that is the same thing he brought to Manchester United. Similarly with Rashford, Rashford seems to only know how to play with freedom and not in the context of a structure. That's the kind of players we have in our team, right? And Ralph not gonna come in and just make these players, into that kind of those kind of players. I mean, I could be wrong. He could come and wave the magic wand, and then them fellas could start to play like proper ballers, right? Who understand systems and tactics and that kind of thing, right? But I am afraid that Ralph Ten Hag comes in and says, well, hey, here what's going on. This Bruno Fernandes fella not working out. And he get override by the board, and that now will in turn give Bruno, who's a player, more power than the manager.
Yeah.
And you cannot tie your manager hand behind his back because he can't make decisions like that again. And players is read and feel into them thing. I remember, and I mean, we used to talk about it when Pep went to City. Pep brought in players and he realized that they weren't doing, and the board supported Pep.
Correct.
And Pep was able to change almost an entire team. Now, while I'm not saying that, the board had to give Ten Hag millions and millions every season, but the mere fact that they did that would have indicated to the players that, hey, this man in charge. And what this man say, we backing him full 100. Right? And I don't know if Man United have that kind of capabilities simply because of their business model. Right? They will renew a player's contract, not for footballing reasons, but to maintain his value so that they could sell him for money, or they could sell jerseys or whatever. And when Ten Hag come in and he wants footballers, and the board don't give him or support him like that, then we might be sitting down here and saying Ten Hag is the worst thing, right? When in truth and in fact these guys' hands tied. So that is my concern going forward, Just like how we were expectant with Ralph, same way we are with Ten Hag. We see what he's done at Ajax. He come here and we back to square one at the end of next season talking about who Ten Hag, the fall of Ten Hag. He's a failure of a manager. So I am concerned with, as it relates to the next game, right? Let them fellas see how the game we paying them. Let them play, right? Let them play, right? But I just like, a lot of other fans, I can't wait to see the end of them, the back of them fellas on them, at least most of them. But the thing about it is the ones who playing are not the ones who contract expiring, right? And not the ones who want to leave, right? They are the ones that are going to be here next season. And that only is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, well said, because I can tell what JP said, because with regards to the first year, that's where Ten Hag has to get these players on his side. And by on his side, it's more like, I'm the boss, right? It's either my way or the highway. And player power has to be removed. The reason why Klopp and Guardiola are such, let's say, friendly with their players is that he had to establish that I'm the boss when they came here. When Klopp came from Dortmund to Liverpool, he had to establish that he was the boss. When Pep was out of a job from Bayern Munich and he came to Manchester City, he had to tell these guys, I am the boss, right? And I think that's what Ten Hag has to do, because Ten Hag has a great reputation, right? We as a club, we missed out on Pep, we missed out on Jurgen Klopp. Okay, fine, but we did not miss out on Ten Hag. And Ten Hag has the perfect opportunity to bring this club back to glory days, right? I think the one question Ten Hag has to sit down with each player come next season is be like, okay, you didn't play well under Ralph. What makes you think that you're going to play well under me? Right? I got the players questioning their abilities now. Right? I am so excited about Ten Hag coming in next season, but we just got to ride out this one more game. Right? With regards to the youth, um, look, let's make some noise. Let's put in some youth. Let's put in some senior players because at the end of the day, some of these senior players are not going to be here next season, so we can might as well, um, I guess, rinse them out until they can't play any more games for Manchester United, right? But I know I am looking forward to next season more than this next game, right?
Yeah.
Oh boy, um, I guess we can get some final thoughts in if you want because it's been a very interesting weekend. Was kind of happy and excited when Wolves came from 2 goals behind and they drew versus Chelsea. Then Man United played, and then I got a chance to see really good football from Conte and Spurs versus Liverpool. Right? Um, Spurs could have easily won that game, but a draw is what I was expecting. And well done to Spurs, right? So, um, final thoughts, guys. Could be on the match today, could be on the match next week, could be anything football related. What are your final thoughts? I'll start with you, JP.
Um, well, one thing I wanted to touch on was the rumor with Paul Pogba possibly going to Manchester City. So they have some
Yeah,
serious talk about that happening. Um, so I always like Pogba, and I will defend Pogba a lot of the times when people don't, right? And if Paul Pogba goes to Manchester City, I think we will see the Paul Pogba that we wanted to see. I always said he
I
could have
fully
been
agree
our
with that.
Yaya Toure. I
yeah,
always said he could have been our Yaya Toure.
me
I
too.
always believe that. And if he goes to
But here,
City, he will be that.
but hear this, right, JP and Chef. I don't know if Chef listening, because I always used to say, and Nico said last time. And I mean, I know it might have been repetitive and then sort of get redundant because we're not seeing the consistency and the performances from Paul Pogba that we want to see at United, right? But we always used to be saying, put the right players around Pogba,
Yes.
put the right system for the player. If you bought Pogba to be your main man, then build the team around him. And we
Around
never
him.
did that. We
Yeah.
never did that for Paul Pogba, right?
Yeah.
And we will see, I agree with JP, we will actually see Paul Pogba go in a team where it have a system, where it have proper players, and we will see Pogba thrive,
Yes.
right? It could be better sweet for me because he could prove people wrong, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it could be with the
He'll be
wrong
winning
side of
for he'll be
Manchester now,
winning for
boy.
Man City. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the better part, right?
Yeah.
He gonna be playing if the deal does go through, he'll be playing with the likes of Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne. He won't play with no Bruno and Fred and Scott, right?
No.
And he gonna probably smash it, and he'll probably become one of the most hated Manchester United players. But Paul, if I ask United fans who don't like Paul Pogba, what has Paul Pogba done wrong? Is he on the same level as like a Angel Di Maria or Carlos Tevez? Is he on that same level? Oh, Paul Pogba did this. I'm like, is that wrong or is that something wrong in your eyes? And then it became silent, right? But yeah, as JP said, there were rumors floating about, I think either yesterday or earlier this morning that Man City,
Mhm.
well, Paul Pogba was offered to Man City and it's probably he can sign a 4-year contract, right? But he'll take less money and win trophies. That's how I see it, right? So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. Any final thoughts? Me?
Yeah, yeah. Well, my issue is this, right? And I think I was talking to Nico about this in terms of our recruitment, right? Ralph spoke about, and I think I mentioned it earlier, about the need for a forward, and he had named three strikers. I think it was Vlahovic,
Yeah.
Luis Diaz, who at Liverpool, Vlahovic, who went
Yep.
to Juventus, and who's the next person?
Um,
So in my opinion, not in my opinion, what has been floating around was that we wanted Vlahovic, there was Luis Diaz, and I know who you're talking about, Liam, but I
yeah,
just can't
the third name
remember.
did not come into my thought, but yeah.
Yeah, but those are the three strikers that he said that he was interested in, and we didn't go for any of them. And it reminded me of how our club used to buy players. Like, we wouldn't sign any striker because we after Harry Kane. So we go just sign stopgap strikers. So that is why we signed Igalo for 2 years. Then we came and we signed Cavani for 2 years. And then we come and we signed Ronaldo for 2 years. In hope that at some point we will get Harry Kane. Right? Similarly with this guy. Right, with Sancho. We sign Pelestri. Then we sign Ahmad. With no
Ahmad,
intention to use these guys, right? It's
yeah.
just a stopgap until we get Sancho. Midfield. How long we've been waiting to sign a midfield, but we after Declan Rice because there's an ex-English player.
Yeah.
Our scouts do not know how to scout properly, right? And I'm looking at this fella Chouameni, right, from AS Monaco,
Monaco.
Yeah.
and I'm reading that he linked with Real Madrid, who
Liverpool.
already stocked with so much midfielders quality
Yep.
at that. Liverpool
Yep.
and Chelsea, and we looking at
Yeah.
who we looking
Yeah.
at
And he's cheaper than Declan Rice.
exactly.
He's like 70 million euros.
Yeah, so I asking myself, I say, what really going on with our scouting network and like how we look at players to get, right? Ralph say Luis Diaz, and look at what Luis Diaz doing for Liverpool, right? He could lift up a
like,
trophy.
yeah. He would not play it so fast, so he
Well,
would
I
not be
mean,
looking so fast.
but still now, in terms of the kind of players that you're bringing in, you're looking at
That
who,
out there, yes.
yeah,
So
Klopp,
hopefully with Ralph there, in that consultancy role, because I know there was a quote where he did say um, that you have players out there with the quality of Declan Rice who will be cheaper. So I am hoping that with him there in that consultancy role that he would have the influence to ensure that we're not going to spend 150 million on one player because he's English.
Yeah, but I hear that we also wanted to stick to the whole United way of having homegrown players as well too, right? And don't get me wrong, I get where they're coming from, but at the end of the day, you gotta mix and match homegrown. I'd rather have quality, right? As Reem mentioned, Tushimeni. Tushimeni is a guy we were linked with summer prior before summer just now, right? And now all of a sudden, this guy is bagging in goals, playing well versus PSG. And now he's caught the attention of the likes of Real Madrid and Liverpool. Real Madrid and Liverpool weren't looking at that guy come last summer. Real Madrid had already signed Camavinga. Liverpool were looking to get all of their players back from injury. So the likes of Fabinho coming back from injury, the likes of Keita, Thiago Alcantara come back from injury. So they weren't looking for any midfielder per se. And all of a sudden, he will be linked to the likes of even PSG, Liverpool, Real Madrid, looking at this youngster who's like, look,
I think Chelsea named in it too.
Yeah.
and Chelsea as well. The Chelsea probably looking to move on from Conte, right? And this guy's like 19. So imagine whoever gets this guy got another midfielder general if he's coached and trained well for the next 10 years, right? Guys, I just gotta say thanks for steering this ship with me for the last hour, man, because we like to come on here to talk about when we win, which is rarely, and then when we don't win, right? This has been our therapy session. One more match to go versus Crystal Palace. And as I told Reem a couple weeks ago, I only watched those matches just to come on just to come on All in All United. That's all, right?
That's
But
what I
JP,
didn't turn off the TV today.
exactly. I don't want Reem. I don't want Reem messing me and say, "Yo, Phil, you on for tonight?" And I don't want to say no. I
Yeah,
want to say yes. The only reason I
yeah,
say yes is because I watched the match. Unfortunately, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. But Reem and JP, thank you very much. Thanks to all the viewers. Again, this is the last comment where it says the front office needs to be flushed into the loo, as the English would say, right? So yeah, um, Reem, JP, all the viewers and everybody who commented, this has been All In, All United.